Shaka Smart and Mike Morrell are so relentless when it comes to recruiting. They signed one player twice. On Tuesday, Tevin Mack signed with the University of Texas about 6 months after initially signing with Coach Smart and Coach Morrell at Virginia Commonwealth. First off, Shaka, what's the significance of this signing with Tevin Mack for this program right now?
It's really significant. You know, Tevin's a terrific player. He's a great young man. He's obviously someone that we have quite a history with. We've been around him and his mom and family for almost 2 years now in terms of developing the relationship. On the court, the best thing he does is score. He can really shoot the basketball. He plays a position where he can do multiple things on the floor, offensively, defensively. He's got good size and length. So all those things contribute to him being a great addition to our program.
So you talk about the history with him. How much credit does Coach Morrell deserve for that?
Mike deserves a great deal of credit. He came to me in the early summer of 2013 and said, hey, this is a guy that we need to take a look at. And when we watched him initially in AAU basketball, Tevin was a young man with a ton of potential, still raw in a lot of ways. Didn't have the confidence that he has now as a player, but we saw a lot of, again, potential in him and some terrific abilities with the basketball. He also was someone that always interacted well with his teammates, but Mike did a great job identifying him and then building a great relationship.
So, Mike, take us back. Where do you remember first seeing Tevin and what really stood out?
I remember the first time I saw him, he didn't even start an AAU game. He kind of came off the bench. He played with a kid in South Carolina who was a highly recruited guy, and I was just kind of passing by the floor. I knew his name. We had worked at Clemson together, so we had some contacts in South Carolina, and he just kind of looked the part. He looked like a kid that at VCU we would be highly intrigued in, and then going into his junior year, he really got better, and Coach developed a great relationship with him, and he just kind of bought into us, and Tev's a very loyal guy, and again, the relationship piece was huge with him, but yeah, I was kind of passing by, knew his name, took a look, and he kind of hit some of the triggers that we really like in players early on.
So you went back, told Coach Smart, we need to at least look at him, keep track of him, but at what point did you know that you could go back to Shaka and say, we need him? This guy needs to be part of the program at VCU.
It's probably about a 29-footer that he pulled up, at some point. But his junior year, I went and watched him play, and it was clear he was definitely talented enough. Now, I think one of our biggest jobs is to find out, how much, is he bought into Coach Smart, and that takes time. Mm-hmm. And then, I think after his junior year, we kind of knew he was a kid that was really in line with what Coach was looking for off the floor.
So it's a very interesting dynamic when you look at this entire class, because you have a guy like Tevin Mack that was originally signed with you guys at Virginia Commonwealth and followed you here to the University of Texas. Then you have Davis and Kerwin Roach, who were signed with the previous Texas coaching staff, and they decide to stay on board with you guys. What's the process like for both parties as you try to figure out what makes sense in terms of the fit for the player and the new coaching staff?
That's a great point, and to be honest with you, a lot of times when these coaching changes occur, there is a lot of change. A lot of times guys decide that they don't necessarily want to go to that school, or sometimes coaches decide, well, this player isn't necessarily a fit for us. Mm-hmm. We were fortunate in this situation in that for both Eric and Kerwin, they were both young men that we were highly, highly interested in keeping as part of this program. And their interest level in Texas was very, very high. I think the most important thing was for us to get out and spend some time with them, just get in front of them face to face and get on the same page in terms of what our expectations would be of them, what their expectations would be of our program. Those guys are so excited about coming to Texas. Obviously, Kerwin is close by in Houston, and Eric's coming down here from Saginaw, Michigan. But there's a real excitement level that they have. I think they realize that this is a program that has the potential to do some terrific things moving forward, has done some terrific things in the past, so they're going to be a big part of it.
What do you think about Kerwin's triple jump, state champ in the state of Texas? Did you see that?
Well, we weren't allowed to go watch just because of the recruiting rules.
Well, you can see it now. Here we go.
You know, he's a guy that obviously is a phenomenal athlete. And the interesting thing, you know, just talking to the track coaches at UT, is that his ceiling is way higher. You know, he's never really worked on the triple jump every day and made that his thing, because basketball has been his main thing. And, you know, as our hope is that continues to be the case. But he's a guy, he's got terrific athletic gifts. But to be honest with you, Lowell, I think his biggest gift is that he has a combination of humility and confidence that is very, very rare in a young man that age.
And finally, tell me a little bit about Eric Davis. Why should Texas fans be excited about him?
Well, Eric Davis has got an offensive skill set that is very, very unique. He can score the basketball. He can handle the basketball. He can pass the basketball. He's very, very savvy with the ball in his hands. He's a guy that can move without the ball in his hands. He can play multiple positions. And Eric is used to playing against the best players in the country. He was on that Nike circuit playing against some of the top players. He was invited to all those top camps, and he fared really, really well. He just got done playing in the Jordan Brand Classic. So he has a great pedigree as a basketball player, and I think he's going to really add to our team.
Well, Coach Morrell, Coach Smart, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations on signing Tevin Mack and also keeping those signatures of Roach and Davis right here in Austin. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Lo.